Tell us a story.
Yes, tell us a story.
Alrighty. It's a cool day. Getting into pretty close, getting ready to go into another month. And before you know it, it'll be Christmas. Gonna let the gopher warm up for a little bit. I had a buddy that had a station wagon. You know I love station wagons. Actually, it was the station wagon that I just had to get rid of because of financial issues. So he had it for years and years and years, and I had always drooled over it, and he told me that I would end up getting it someday. He was a rather elder gentleman and stuff. He's actually the guy that got me started in electronics. He was a electronic experts over to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in the Aerospace Propulsion Lab. He is actually responsible for a lot of the reasons we were even able to send anything into outer space, go to the moon, and how we have propulsion the way we do now. He worked out a lot of the bugs. They actually had to build their tools to test things because there was no tools made at the time to test things. I got lucky enough that I have some of those electronic tools now that were handed down to me, and I cherish them. Anyway, he had the station wagon, and he used to always keep it garaged. He'd always keep it waxed. He always kept it in the best condition, and it was really nice. But as he got older, he developed macular degeneration and was not able to drive as much, so it stayed in quite a bit. So my dad would go down and start it up and check it out. So one time it had set for a little while because it was running kind of rough before, and it had set for a little while, and my dad went out to check it out, and he went to start it, and it wouldn't start, and then wouldn't start, and finally it started, and it sounded real dragged down and muffled. He didn't know what was going on. So he tried to check it all out, check the plugs, checked whatever, and couldn't figure out what was going on. Well, my buddy used to keep peanuts in the garage to feed squirrels, so, and he had a big, huge, I believe it was like a 5-gallon bucket of peanuts. They were unshelled peanuts, so they were peanuts in the shell. He kept those out there. Well, my dad finally got this car running, backed it out, and gave it a little gas, and he said out from the exhaust exploded shell after shell after shell after shell after shell of peanuts. He said it threw him 10, 15, 20 feet out the exhaust. And the more he revved it, the better it ran, the more shells that came out. It seems that the ground squirrels had gotten in, got all the peanuts, filled their pouches full, went to hunt for a place to hide them, jumped up into the exhaust pipe, which was about 6-8 inches off the ground, and packed the exhaust all the way to the muffler full of peanut hulls, peanuts in the shell. My dad told him that, and they laughed and laughed and laughed. I mean, it was just amazing how much they had packed there. And he says, well, I had a 5-gallon. He says, I was wondering where all those peanuts went. Story time. We're going to go ahead and get in and start our day, see what the day brings. Let's ride. pretty interesting that the the ground squirrels or chipmunks had actually gotten in to the nuts themselves, then carried all of those nuts, so like I said, a whole 5-gallon container, and packed them into the exhaust pipe from the muffler all the way back through the tailpipe. Really, we're lucky it didn't do any damage to the car when we started it up. We had no idea. My dad said he had no idea that that could be packed in like that. It's kind of like back when I was a kid, they used to take and stuff bananas and potatoes in tailpipes of cars. And when you start the older cars without the electronics to tell it something was wrong and shut it off, the older cars would start up and build up enough pressure to where it could blow the tailpipe muffler or whatever off. It was something that they did way back then. So, all righty, we're at work. We're going to get going, see if we can help people today. See ya.
Story time is over.
Damn, that was annoying.